We are here today with Cole Epley, who's running for U.S. Congress. I practiced it and everything. Still messed it up. He is running to defeat Estes in November. First, he's got the Democrat primary August 4th. So how's the campaign going?
It's going pretty good. Just got myself on the ballot this morning. Drove to Topeka this morning.
Oh,
so
yeah.
We're on the ballot now.
Official.
Yeah, we're
Did you
official.
get the pictures?
I did get the pictures, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My campaign assistant, who's walking around the library right now, he wasn't able to come with me this morning, so I had to ask the workers to
Oh,
get
yeah.
that
They're
picture.
very friendly. They're very helpful.
Yeah.
I went up there with Caden and his baby, and
Awesome.
I live in Topeka. Well,
Okay.
I live in both places at the moment.
Yeah, I'm going to say you're in Wichita as much as...
Yeah, people are they're like, where do you live? I'm like, wherever I'm at. If I'm in Wichita, then I'm living in Wichita. I'm registered to vote in Topeka. But yeah, so I met him up there when he did it, and he had his baby with him. It was just
Awesome.
super adorable. But yeah, when did you enter the race?
I started paperwork end of January, and I publicly announced February 10th.
Okay, it's quite a while. And there's how many in there now? 6, 5?
There's 4 of us total in
Four total.
in the Democratic primary.
It's hard because there are a couple races that
Yeah.
there's primaries all over the place. It's exciting.
Yeah.
Why are you running? What is your origin story?
I got my degree in music education to be a middle school band teacher. Realized I wanted to advocate for children and work with them, but not in that capacity. Turns out 8 hours of trumpets a day was not my cup of tea. So I pivoted to foster care social work, and I found my groove and found what I was passionate for when it came to doing case coordinating and then eventually case management for foster children. I specialized in, after doing 2 years of running a middle school aged boys home, I went and jumped over to case management, where I quickly started specializing in doing case management for teenagers who either had a history of being trafficked or were at risk of being trafficked again. So it was very emotionally exhausting for that year plus, but it was a lot of 24/7 boots on the ground, making sure everybody's where they're supposed to be. We're keeping the silly levels to 7 instead of a 10.
Oh, so you're prepared for politics.
Exactly.
Keeping the silly levels to a 7 instead of a 10.
Exactly.
You go to Washington.
Yeah.
They need. I think they're at an 11. Yeah. So.
And then after that, I was only getting just the state of foster care. I was only getting paid $20 an hour to do all that, and so I got an offer to go and make almost $18K more a year to be an admissions case manager at a school for children with severe autism. Did that. So that was really rewarding in a different capacity, put more of my educator hat back on since I got the degree. And then about 5 months later, it seemed like about me and 10 other people got let go in very rapid succession for a bunch of reasons for finances.
Yeah.
Ever since January, I've been out and about trying to find a new job, but social work, and especially foster care social work, and anything that involves child advocacy is just the economy, as well as optimizations of state budgets, have just made the entire field contract. So it's really hard to find
Optimizations.
Yeah, some optimization, some lowest bidder,
Yeah.
some lower bidder work. But no, I'm blessed between this campaign, which I'm able to put full time. I still have my Army Reserve stuff without putting too much of my military reservist stuff, keeping my DOD and my politics separate, unlike other people. I am a musician in the Army Reserves.
Yeah.
I have that as a backup, or as an additional source of income, as well as my partner. She's an ICU nurse who works nonstop, and she's a fantastic teammate right now as I'm doing all this. So yeah.
Shout out to, what's your partner's name?
Anna.
Shout out to Anna for, I understand.
I know she said yes.
When you have a partner and children or whatever, it's a decision you really should be making as a family. Do we want to go into this life?
Yeah.
Especially when you're talking about going to the federal level.
Yeah.
The U.S. House level, they really don't bother the spouses at the Kansas House level. You know what I mean? At that level, they really aren't digging into the spouses and trying to find dirt or anything. But like when you start going to Washington, then they'll. So it's like you're opening up your entire life to criticism.
Everything's on display.
Anything you or your wife or partner or whatever ever
Everything's a part
said
of your character.
Yeah. So it's a lot, and obviously not something I'm going into. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's people are like, why don't you just run? I'm like, Google me, and then we'll talk. Because I was a comedian for 10 years, so.
Oh, nice.
I'm
sure there's an evolution of Helen.
I have all the information out there. It would not be hard to find dirt on me.
Yeah.
That's a factor you have to factor in when you're running. So that kind of leads into my next question is like, why go ahead and go for the federal and not try to run for Kansas House?
So actually, I am blessed that I am one of very sad few of Kansas that has Democrat representation at the state level. KC, who just got announced as Cindy's VP running, or vice governor running mate. He's my state representative.
Yeah.
And so originally I was like, first of all, I think he's a really good state representative.
That wouldn't be smart to try.
Exactly. It's like, why is a 28-year-old white boy trying to primary a fantastic
it would make no sense.
man who is actually it's like it's like my energy's better spent if I'm going to do something.
Well, apparently you were right, because now he's been picked for lieutenant governor with. So
so it's like
so apparently we were right, not the primary. But because my representative is in Topeka is Tobias, and I'm I have no desire to try to take people out that are good or good enough anyway.
Exactly.
At this point, they would have to be pretty bad for me to want to primary them in Kansas at the level of no power.
Yeah.
And I don't know to be honest with you, I have not been paying a lot of attention to federal politics this year because
it's hard to watch. It's daily a train wreck. I just turn on CNN or Fox News.
And I feel so powerless over it. I spent all last year just crippled by feeling powerless and not knowing what to do as I watched the world burn around me. Right? Yeah. And then this is what I thought of doing. And so here we are. And then that's obviously evolved into so much more. But I was like, this is too much. So I started focusing on the local Wichita politics.
And that's the stuff that that's the stuff that really helps the day.
Yes, and that's what I found out, right?
Yeah.
And I knew nothing about how Wichita politics works until
Wichita's government's interesting.
Until Lily Wu wouldn't sign the Transgender Day of Visibility Act and got my attention, and then I was like, "What's going on over there?" Otherwise, I would have kept paying attention. And then I moved to Topeka, and so I thought, let's pay attention to the state politics. And so I've been really absorbed in the 125 House districts that are up for election here.
Yeah.
What is the situation like power-wise in the U.S. House right now? I can't remember.
I know there's 4 vacant seats right now because Marjorie Taylor Greene stepped away, and so it's very weird. I think there's still a couple seats. I haven't checked the numbers. I don't have the numbers memorized. I know there are a couple seats. I think there are 4 seats up, but then also there's a rotating villain with the Democratic Party also. So
rotating. I feel like there was a Democrat that died in that open seat or something. Did they fill that yet? I can't remember. Like I said, I'm pretty good at disconnecting from stuff. So I'm pretty good at curating my feeds. And I literally tried to not pay attention to a whole lot that's going on up there. I really didn't plan to get too many. I didn't think that people running for the U.S. House would be willing to sit down with me when I started this thing. So I didn't even think about it.
No, absolutely. But I get to talk.
It's really important. I really want Estes to be replaced. And I don't know if it's I know Roger Marshall's seat, it's been since 1939 or something since the Democrats been in that seat.
I heard near century. I think the term I've heard is near century. I don't know what that number is.
And I haven't looked into Estes, but I imagine it's been.
I think it's early 2000s.
Yeah, he's been in there for a while.
From my political sentience of existence, it's been Pompeo, and then he got bumped up to Trump's first admin, and then that 2017 election.
That's back when I was really paying attention to the federal government.
That's when I was 19.
Oh yeah. How old are you?
28.
28. Oh.
Yeah. Second election ever.
Jeez.
Sorry.
No, I know. I have children older than you. I have children older than you.
Kicking butt.
You come off as as an older, more mature person. That might be the military. That doesn't help.
Love the military. Ain't that?
They don't help people mature. That's what they keep saying, that we should trust them because they were in the military forever and that makes them more qualified.
I think it helps with high intensity situations, but I think lovingly, I'm not sure maturity is the exact word I use.
Army. I went into basic training. I didn't make it, very long story, but so I went through the basic training process, most of it, and I am not cut out. For multiple reasons. But I saw the people that were in the Army, and maturity wasn't really the first word that would come to mind. But
it's said with love.
You said earlier you are an Army. Were you in the Army or just the Army Reserves?
I'm still in the Army Reserves.
You're still in the Army Reserves. Were you in the full time at one point, and then now you're in the Reserves?
No, I joined the Army band. I passed my Army band audition when I was 17 years old. Stayed in the I've been in the same unit my entire Army Reserve stuff.
All right, I was going to be in the Army Reserves.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I would have went to Bosnia for a year and a half. I was That would have been fun.
Yeah.
A tent. But yes, it has been interesting the different ways the campaigns that have veterans on them are talking about their military experience and how hard they're leaning into it or not. One or the other. Caden talks about his because it's like he was like a combat military police person.
I saw a picture.
Yeah.
I see an MP pants on
Yeah,
there.
and
So
so
I was going to assume military police.
yeah, and for him, it's more about people understand when he has an opinion about police accountability or all the public
There's a
safety.
touchdown. Yeah.
That he's not just speaking from he's not just some guy.
Yeah.
He knows what he's talking about. So, but yeah, it is interesting how Carmichael's. I'm a veteran, not a activist. I can't remember what he said. The Washington days, and I was like, oh, but I don't know. I just know that it's a mess, and I can't imagine anybody wanting to. So you're all very brave to run for a federal office right now. I'm telling you, anybody that's willing to run for a federal office is braver than me.
I make it up there. I don't want to, besides stopping horrible government contracts with Best Buddies and the rotating door, I don't want anything to do with any DOD stuff. That's not where I want. I don't want to.
You're not going to be on those committees.
I don't want to be one of the hundreds of middle-aged guys who want to be in the war room. I don't want that.
What are your main 3 things that you care most about?
Universal health care. I want to save Americans money. 13% for the average American when it comes to their health care costs. Taxes would go up, but your paychecks would also go up since you don't have to work with your employer to fund that. So that's one. Do want to actually advocate for minority and immigrant voices in this district, but also in the country. They just don't. So it's also, I want to abolish ICE and do...
Abolish ICE was my next question.
Yeah, I want to abolish ICE and do serious immigration reform. I consider those the same 2 topics.
Oh, yeah.
I think of it when it comes... Yeah, it's all the same.
It's all the same because one chicken or the egg, right?
Yeah.
And because when they set this all up, they took all the funding and put it into that, and they didn't put enough funding into the processing.
Yeah.
And so if we just took all the money we're putting into ICE and put it into the processing, we could process people faster and background check them better.
We could just make a bunch of, life is good when desk jobs mean something, and we have the ability to create a bunch of desk jobs to make a bunch of people American citizens and full-fledged, but instead we're arming a modern-day Gestapo.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's just that's what this country is supposed to be.
Yeah, it's
about a melting pot. It's a story we've been sold, right? And I think for me, there are people that are like, that's not the truth, and I'm like, I understand.
Yeah,
that wasn't the truth, but I don't see why it can't be.
Yeah, it's like it sucks that it has to be aspirational and it can't already exist. But the goal is to go out there and make it tangible and materialize that.
You sold me on a promise.
Yeah, and we the people, but it's taken a lot of time to make that we, the actual we.
We, what is it? We, the white land owning
white men.
It's a Mel Brooks movie. You'd have to look it up. We, the white land owning. Yeah, that's what we, the people, mean. They just left that out.
Yeah, exactly.
Of the original.
A lot of amendments there to really define what that we meant, huh?
Yeah.
Weird, strange.
We. You're not the we. I thought we all knew we meant.
Yeah.
We. Yeah.
And then the third I really want is to put taxes or raise taxes a lot on billionaires and mega corporations to set the foundation for future social programs and us actually having a functional and caring and egalitarian country.
Yeah.
So that's the third one. If I go in there and help one of them become a thing, I think I did my job in this chapter of America. But
yeah, it's going to be tough. It all depends on a lot of things that happen in November, right? Whoever wins in August has a tough battle ahead, and then once they even get in there, it's just going to be like a non-stop fight.
Yeah. And
they have to be prepared for that level of scrutiny and pressure and stress. I can only imagine. Yeah,
continuously proving yourself in what is traditionally a red district, even if you do become a Democratic candidate of any flavor.
Every word, every action, everything
every vote will be
scrutinized by everybody all
Yep.
the time. I couldn't do it. I'd crack. I'd crack. Just talking about it makes my heart rate go up. I would crack. I could do a Kansas House seat maybe. Maybe I could build up a thicker skin, but I think I'm almost 50. My skin is what it is.
That
You know
Kansas
what I mean?
House, looking at, sometimes I'll tune into a feed or watch a thing.
Yeah.
Just there's more heartlessness in the Kansas House than in because at least the U.S. House, there's a little bit of bickering and everything, but just that supermajority just makes that room.
Yeah, they just get
when
up
you
and
watch a
walk
video.
around. I heard they just get up and walk around. They're
Yeah.
not even listening.
Yeah.
Whenever
I tune into that Kansas House, it feels heartless.
Yeah, it just feels unprofessional to me a lot of times. And at least at the U.S. House, they keep it a little more professional when they're on the C-SPAN or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, you'll just be walking and reporters gonna be like, blah, 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 blah. And whatever comes out of your mouth, it's gonna be a clip. You better be ready to say something, and you better make sure that enough people don't hate it.
Yep.
I can't take that kind of pressure. I can't think that. I would just be mute all the time. I would refuse to talk to anybody because.
And then not answering questions.
You
also.
never know.
And then not answering questions also.
That's a problem too. Yeah, you can't not answer them. But because especially if sometimes if I'm provoked, like they like to poke at people, right? And then I'll just blah back, and that's not what you're supposed to do, right? You're supposed to stay professional no matter what they say to you, and and then there'll be some horrible clip on the news.
Yep.
Yeah, like I said, the level of thick skin and bravery and all this stuff you have to be willing to go to Washington is just admirable. It is admirable that people.
I've never been to Washington.
You've never been to visit Washington? Me either. I'm too poor.
Yeah, never been to Washington.
Yeah, I don't know what your income level was like growing up, but I've been too poor to go to Washington, and it just was never a top priority.
We could have. I'm sure we could have. I was blessed to go on a cruise or two in my childhood, in my teenage years. So it's I know my mom was a Medicaid worker. My dad was, he was active, Army. He enlisted as infantryman. And then after that, he said, never doing that again. And then he pivoted to get commissioned as well as pivoted to the reserves and did logistics as an officer. And then when he went to the reserve side, he bounced around jobs a little bit, which dragged me around a little bit as a toddler. But he ended up being a parts managing supervisor at Hawker Beechcraft in Cessna.
Okay.
So that's decent, I would say middle class.
Oh yeah. So the aircraft
on the.
Is that when your family moved here?
I was born here.
Oh, okay.
We moved here. Then that's when my dad got commissioned. So then we were in Virginia Beach for a couple months, and then we moved to Topeka for a year to be with my grandparents, and then we moved to Colorado for a year because my dad worked for Ford for a little bit, and then we hopped back. And then we hopped back here a couple months before I started kindergarten, and I did all 12 years of school. Oh, so I did my K through 12 childhood is all
the years that matter.
Exactly. When I was a sentient and conscious. I was a conscious human being, not sentient.
Where you have memories. Solid. Yeah, that's close enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same thing with me. I was born here, I lived here, I moved all around and came back in 8th grade, but I'm still, Kansas and Wichita are my hometown and home state, so whether I like it or not, that decision was made for me. But I think it seems to be really important to people that they have strong Kansas roots.
And I get that. And it just feels so weird, though, that other candidates really drive it home. And it's you don't have to. It's not that important, and they just drive it into the dirt.
It's that, and what that does to a suspicious curmudgeon like myself is why are you making such a big deal out of this?
Everybody's a fifth generation Kansas, and don't forget it.
I know. Yeah, what I'm planning to do, and I'm working on it now, is a profile on all of you. And it's just going to be whatever I can find on the internet.
Perfect.
And no opinions. No opinions. This is where they work. This is what their company does. This is who their company, the owner of their company contributes to. This is why they came to Kansas for their family business. Because there's court records. There's all sorts of stuff you can find publicly on people. It's amazing.
Yeah.
If you know how to read court records, which I do.
Yeah.
The people send me legal stuff to just read it. It's like, oh, here's what they're saying. And it's one sentence, but it's 3 pages. I'm like, yeah, you're innocent. Oh, thanks. Yeah. But I was saying, so that's my plan, is to do in your race and in the Marshall race.
Yeah, that's all 11 can have fun with that. All 11 candidates. 11 before, and we're not even at June 1st yet.
Oh, yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
2 more could hop out of the woodworks for the
knows?
Senate race.
Who knows? I'm not going to bother doing one on Hamilton.
That's fair.
It's all out there. I don't think there's really anything to dig up that I can find. At least he's been really good about not letting about on the internet.
I don't want to air an opinion on the
the
primary, but
I'm just saying, like, I've tried, but
that's okay.
See, I'm trying to find it in a way that most people can find it. I'm trying not to use some sort of like inside source I may have, because I know people. But I'm just saying I could get other dirt on him because of people I know that know him. But I'm not trying to get dirt on
those
anybody.
are individual opinions.
I'm not trying to do that. And it wouldn't matter if they say something to me. I would still have to go get like receipts or whatever. Exactly. So it's really just what I can just in my sleuthing internet. I do have above average skills of researching people just with the internet and court records and stuff. So that's it. Just whatever I can find on the internet about all of you.
You're probably gonna find a lot of pictures of me behind a French horn. My mom likes to post most of my pictures.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, it's just gonna be mostly just like me being a nerd with a French horn on my lap.
Because it wasn't that long ago, so it's all.
I still do concerts and everything with the Army, but it's like.
So you play the French horn?
French horn, trumpet, and jazz guitar.
Trumpet. I want to play the trumpet. I wanted to play the trumpet, but it got broke. It's a long story. I ended up on the baritone, which is useless after high school. I could do the tuba too, though.
Yeah. Okay.
Boom, 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 boom. It's very boring. I always loved the French horn. Those little bitty mouthpieces.
Yeah, it's a pea shooter.
Pea shooter. So, what do you think your chances are? How are you feeling about the primary in general at this point?
It sounds insane. I think I would feel more comfortable in the general than in the primary.
I think it's because you can just really let everyone know how much better you are than your opponent, right?
Yeah.
And really be able to do that. Whereas it seems like nobody is doing that in the primary. And I understand why, because you're all part of the same party. But I think you saw my Facebook post. But at the same time, like, how do I decide? Because you all have the same talking points a little bit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it's so how, if you're not going to tell me how you're different than the people I'm like, how am I supposed to know? And then it's like,
I think to a certain extent, and this isn't a critique or anything, I know that Kansas Dems has been like, hey, and I don't know if I agree with it yet, we'll see, but for the most part, hey, let's try to keep gloves on, I guess is the best way to summarize what they're talking about. And I get it, because Kansas Dems is trying to flip a lot of seats at the House or at the state and federal level, and also because Kansas doesn't get national DNC support. Kansas is a political backwater for the DNC. So it's like they're trying to find, and I get it to a certain extent.
I'm saying, if we flip either Marshall or Estes seats, it's going to be crazy, and no one on the national level is paying any attention to it.
It's going to be a random out of left field wipe.
Yeah, it'll be a big deal to national news. They'll be like, what's happening in Kansas? But nobody's paying attention right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and right now, I know I think that with my disposition, my rule is, whether I want to or not, I converse with everybody. I'm not going to concede. My rule is converse, don't concede.
Yeah.
And so I always do that.
There's no personal attacks.
Yeah.
That's mainly what I want.
Yeah.
I don't think candidates should ever.
And everybody's been nice. All 3 other candidates in my race have been objectively nice to me in every conversation. So
it's not like trying to have you attack them personally, but I need to know why you are better suited to run it. First of all, I think the main thing in the primary is people are looking at who can beat Estes.
Yeah.
And then a lot of them just decide by who gets the most money. And so, they got the most money.
Decides that,
they can beat Estes, but I just can't vote that way. I cannot vote that way.
Yeah, and stats have shown that doesn't work. 2017, 2020, 2022, 2024. All times have just been mostly, for the most part, a moderate Democrat trying to throw as much money into a situation when they don't have a lot of policy, to stand on or mobilize voters against Ron Estes, who will throw $1 million, and then if he feels scared, he'll pull the lever and throw an extra $1 million on top of it. And you can't out money him, but you can out organize and mobilize him.
Yeah.
He can't buy hundreds upon hundreds of door knockers. We can rally that because our bases tend to be more active and actually go into distance for that. So I'm blessed. I don't have a lot of money. I think I've fundraised about $7,000 so far.
Yeah.
But I have over 50 volunteers on a standby list.
Whoa.
So it's like, I don't want to overuse them and use it. So it's like, I'm waiting till like it's door knocking season, like 2 weeks before mail-in ballots start. And it's like, all right, mobilize the troops and everything. But it's like, I know I have the ability to get people to go out to the door and get people.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
As somebody that's running a campaign.
Yeah. Only $7,000, but it's like.
Who has 5?
Yeah.
We had 50.
Yeah.
My goodness. Yeah, that's a lot of volunteers.
Yeah. Now, granted, that I will say that 50 person list are people going to my website and doing the volunteer thing.
I know, and we have 3.
Okay, cool. Okay, I want to make sure because also I haven't like.
Maybe you can. Maybe after the primary.
Yeah, I haven't sat down with each individual one. Oh, how committed are you to this? But like, I have a standby list of 50 people who have.
That's just even
given
50
their
interest is pretty
their
good.
word,
I think. Do you have somebody organizing all that?
It's just me.
Just you.
I have a friend who also does social work, and he's my spiritual campaign manager.
Well, if you need any help with just strictly the canvassing organization part, I'm not going to do the canvassing. You don't want me out there knocking on doors.
Yeah.
No, I also get hot and sweaty, and this physically can't be, especially for campaigning. But as far as that's part of what the big thing I've done for Caden is organize his canvas into priorities and looked at all the data in Vote Builder. So I'm like really familiar with Vote Builder and how to pull up all the data and things. And it's really not. Now that it was a lot of work to do for Caden, but now, like I said, I have a process. Once I do it once or twice and I get a process, it's like beep, bop, boop. And I'd be happy to help.
That'd be awesome.
With your canvassing.
Yeah, I'm learning Vote Builder right now. I'm trying to figure out how to strategize during the primary season, prioritizing knocking on Democratic doors, and then general election just once resources get consolidated for general election, the Democratic Party just start going.
Yeah, we're going to start the Democrats, and then 40%, I don't know if you've looked at, this is one thing I looked up in Vote Builders, 40% of his district is unaffiliated, so I don't know what your voter base, how much of them are unaffiliated. So it's like Democrats, then unaffiliated, and then he has people that are willing to call and talk to Republicans because they were Republicans or are Republicans, but they're supporting
and those people are people are worth their weight in gold.
So he has those that'll at least call those people, and he's going to knock on some doors himself here starting soon, and that's what I really think the kind of campaign you're running. That's what it takes. A lot of shoe leather, a lot of talking, a lot of door knocking. Yeah. And so money doesn't matter. Yeah.
And I am blessed that my partner is helping me do all that. I know I am privileged and blessed while I'm not. I don't have 6 zeros in the bank. I know that I am endlessly blessed to be in a situation where I've talked to my partner. We talked through it a lot, did some double checkings, and I am able to just put the foot on the gas pedal and put 40, 50, 60 hours of my just elbow grease into the campaign.
Somebody should have hired you, and then you wouldn't have ran against Estes.
I was still going to run against
Estes. And taken out.
I want to see progressive policy.
So do I.
Yeah, it's like,
I'm tired.
If I hear make healthcare more affordable more time, I'm gonna flip a table.
More affordable.
Yeah, it's if I hear make healthcare more affordable, table's gonna get flipped.
It's so unaffordable that more affordable.
We did that. It was called the Affordable Health Care Act, and then we allowed, the same way we allowed Confederacy to continue to exist 150 years ago, we allowed insurance companies to exist after that, and then over a decade, they lobbied the ACA to death. It's we can't do that again.
Pharmacy lobbyists and insurance lobbyists wrote parts of the ACA.
Exactly.
So they've been in on it.
Even then, it's like they didn't like it, and they still got their way.
That's why it makes me mad when people call it Obamacare, right?
Yeah.
It's because I'm like, that's not what he proposed.
I will never call it Obamacare because it's like I'm not gonna polarize it for people.
Also, the ACA is not what he proposed.
Yeah.
The ACA is what was done to it once it made it through the chambers.
After it got
that is not
Obamacare. Pushed on the floor
Obamacare.
and kicked a couple
That
times.
is not Obamacare. Yeah. And then they allowed the states to do like Kansas and just leave federal money on the table and leave us uninsured. And they really cut the legs right off of Obamacare. And so that it makes me so mad when they say Obamacare. I was like, if it was Obamacare, I'd have health insurance right now. What are you talking about? I was there.
Yeah, we can't. If we're gonna do another big health insurance push for the well-being of Americans, like it has to just be something that puts them out of business because they cannot be allowed to continue to exist and lobby their position back, because that's what they're going to do, and that's what they did with the ACA was already not that hard on them, and they still lobbied their position back against it. And so first, everybody could see it coming, but first time, shame on you. Second time, shame on me. It's like we can't just do affordable healthcare again. It has to just be the actual.
I'm saying if to be more affordable doesn't already have to be affordable.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's not affordable. So
yeah.
you
Exactly.
Have to, you would have.
Yeah.
You can't make something more of something it's not.
So I'll share a story. And my dad served reserves for 24. Whatever the math is between 18 years old and then 45. I should have prepared my math for you. I'm sorry.
You're fine. 26.
Music major, not math major. But during that entire time, he had TRICARE throughout all of, whether it was active duty TRICARE or TRICARE Reserve. For the 5 months that he retired in 2017, nope, he passed in 2019. He retired 2019 in summer. For 5 months of his life, he didn't have insurance for the first time in his entire adult life. And this is still during Trump's first administration or first term. So the VA was horrible to him. He couldn't get, and he kept feeling weird feelings in his chest. And so he went to the hospital twice. He went to I forget the one that's on Derby on 20 for Kansas Medical Center. He went there twice, and both times was turned away by you, basically because you don't have insurance right now and everything, and there's not enough.
You're not dying.
You're not dying. Turned away both times because of lack of insurance and because of lack of further medical proof, and they didn't want he couldn't just afford to just throw that money endlessly. For those 5 months that he didn't have insurance, even though he served from 18 to 45 years old, he passed from a single heart attack in his sleep. And so it's just, he could have just had health care, and he should have still remained, but the VA, because it was Trump's first term, and even then the VA's always never really been good until the back half of Biden's term, which is saying something for Biden. But he could not even get into the VA, so he was trying alternate routes. And so it's just, I don't have any sympathy for any insurance corporations.
It makes me very angry. My face is red.
Yeah, it's
so
personal. It's personal for me.
Because he literally is dead because he didn't have insurance. Because if he'd have been able to go to a doctor, they would have been, because he wasn't an old man.
No, he was 45 years old.
Yeah, oh my God, that's 48. That makes me so upset.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm so mad
so it's
now.
like,
I'm so upset for you.
Yeah, I've coped with it at this point. I went to my 6 free sessions of therapy. But it's personal for me at this point, to a certain extent. And then also, I hear my fiance stories about all of her horror without my fiance's good noodle. She doesn't break HIPAA, but families not being able to afford $20,000 situations because she works ICU, and that's all. That's 2/3 of the ICU is just insane, life-saving.
My dad died from heart stuff, but he had medical stuff and didn't take care of himself and still lived a decade and stuff. But yeah, your dad didn't even have a chance to get what my dad had. He was 43 when he got diagnosed with heart stuff. But my mom had health insurance because she worked at Target, and he was able to get care for it and live till 63. So it makes me really mad. Your dad shouldn't be dead.
Yeah, exactly.
Army veteran.
Yeah.
And he died because of something that was probably treatable.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm so mad. I'm gonna be so mad for you. No.
Thank you.
I'm so mad. I know. I have a dead dad. I know what it's like, and just for it to also be so unnecessary.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, my story's not you. The worst part is, like, I wish I was a weird fluke case, but it's like Luigi happened for a reason. There's over 800,000 deaths that are preventable from health insurance, complications or denials every year.
I know there was a girl a long time ago. She died. She had cystic fibrosis, and it was an experimental thing, so the insurance wouldn't pay for it. They were going to take part of her parents' lungs or something, and they just had to raise $144,000, and she died. And I'm like, so you're telling me that we have the treatment, we have the operating room.
Yep.
The doctors everybody donated as much as they could of their time, and we're $144,000 short to possibly save the life of a child.
Yeah.
And we're just going to leave the operating room empty? Are you kidding me? And so that's when I really started.
What are margins, though?
Yeah.
What about the shareholders, though?
Yeah. Because it shouldn't be for profit.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's the most insane thing to me. It seems like just common sense. There's just so many things.
It is, and that's the part of explaining it to voters who, it's like, a lot of people, especially undecided voters, and I call them Republican light because MAGA has really drawn that line in the sand for Republicans. So it's like, there are a lot of Republicans who are willing to, they'll hold their nose, but they'll vote.
That's what I'm saying. You need to look at the unaffiliated.
Yeah, unaffiliated's massive.
It's growing because I think
Yeah.
they think they're trying to say it's because of Democrats, the Republicans are, right?
Yeah.
They're trying to say that it's because, I think it's both.
Yeah.
In Kansas,
I was like,
federally it's both, right?
Yeah.
Federally it's both. But in Kansas specifically, I don't think it is.
Yeah.
I think the influx, because we have seen a major influx in unregistered, unaffiliated voters here.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's from the Democrats abandoning the Democrat Party here. I think
Yeah.
either they've abandoned them already, or they're not,
Yeah.
or they're like diehard Democrats. There's not a lot of people jumping ship from Democrats right now in Kansas. So
because there's a lot more effort, and granted, we saw a single instance of it on Tuesday with Thomas Massey, even though he was still trying to vie for Trump's love again. So there's a lot more internal reform in the Democratic Party than there is in the Republican Party at this moment. There's a lot more in the Democratic Party, because it is, as much as it hasn't been at the national level, it is the best party to be in action, to be the vessel for meaningful change for Americans.
here for what? Okay, so the Republican Party got taken over by the Tea Party. They set the foundation that gave us MAGA, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that the Democrats never had that takeover of the progressives. It was always this pressure from the outside, and some people would go in. And so I don't think that there's been like a real active takeover of the Democratic Party by a serious amount of progressive people.
Yeah.
But I think that now, like I was saying, that this is special timing. I think that, and it's not that I want to rail against the Democrats, but I think that a lot of the problems that people have, as somebody that was a vote blue no matter who, for 15 years.
Yeah, you start to feel like your vote gets taken for granted.
It's like, I want to vote. And then Bernie, I don't know, were you 18? Was he the first?
Yes, I will say a couple months after the 2018 primary, I realized actually Bernie's my guy. I did my first primary ever. I did vote for Hillary.
Yeah.
Even though Bernie ended up winning Kansas 2-1, by the way.
I was there.
Bernie was, and then a couple months I was like, oh wait, this is actually what I believe, and Bernie is my But no, then after that 2020, I was doing work for. I was ready to do canvassing support for Bernie, and then he randomly cut his campaign in 2020.
I'm not
randomly.
Look, I'm not one to talk to people or leave my house if I can help it. Believe it or not, as I'm here talking to you. It's because I think this is important.
Yeah.
Okay. And but Bernie energized me in a way that I voted for Obama and I understood it and I felt good about it. But Bernie was the first time I'd ever had a candidate to vote for that I was going to cry if they won.
It was the first time for a lot of people.
I walked in a parade with a float for Bernie.
It was the first time in a long time people felt like it was a greater good vote than a lesser evil vote.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was finally somebody I wanted to vote for, and then they took it.
Yeah, and then an Obama phone call later.
I'm just saying, I was at the polls, working the polls, at the table, helping people change from Republican to Democrat.
Yeah.
Or unaffiliated to Democrat, and there were lines upon lines of young people.
Yeah.
College kids, just 2 lines, 20 people deep at all times.
It's so funny because it's one of the oldest.
And that was in Kansas.
Exactly.
So how did he not win? I just, what I'm saying. I actually have a book of his that he wrote before all that I was going to read. I bought it when I was killing time to support the library.
Nice.
And I was like, I've never read this one. I read this newer one. But yeah, and so and I think that Kansas just takes a decade. They're always a decade behind.
Yeah, until Kansas is not, though. Kansas is weird. They thought this was going to be the testing ground for abortion rights getting removed in a public vote, and then we just said 60-40. So Kansas is weird.
I wrote this article called The Average Kansas Voter, and I looked at all the data that I could get from all the different precincts, 125 Kansas House districts.
Yeah.
And I found what the average voter is a middle-aged white woman.
Yeah.
I am the average voter.
Yeah.
And that is why abortion didn't pass.
Yep. Because you go out and exercise your right. A lot of white men are either, give or take, they're either going to really be passionate or they are completely unplugged in Kansas.
Yeah.
And so the goal is to plug them in.
Yeah. I haven't looked at the gender stats and gotten all that data of that vote, but I just know that a lot of people probably don't publicly support it, but they went in there and voted for it. Or voted against. They want it. They just are going to not verbally be like,
there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of silent dissent.
Yeah.
To keep it dissent.
You know what I'm saying. You guys know what we're saying.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this, you pay attention to Kansas politics. You know what I'm saying. But yeah, I found it really interesting going out and talking to the people that are running in the rural districts. I drove out to Hayes and talked to Mark Shokowitz. It's running out there in 110.
Okay.
And there are a lot, so most of the people are registered Republican, but that doesn't really mean anything because when you're out there and no Democrats run, your race is the primary. That is your election. So if you want to voice at all, you got to be registered Republican.
Yeah.
So it doesn't.
That's so many Democrats in my now. I've been,
I just switched to Democrat from unaffiliated so that I could be. I didn't have to be a campaign manager. I just thought that I should probably be a registered Democrat if I was going to be a campaign manager.
Yeah.
And I had looked into doing
this. Feels right. Yeah.
I had looked into being a PCP because that was a big thing. In 2016, that was my thing. I was trying to get PCP positions filled because there was only 75 when there was supposed to be like 900.
Oh, damn.
And those, I didn't even know what they were. I didn't even know they existed until 2016. And they're supposed to be like 900 and something people at the foundation of the party in Kansas. And they're not there.
Yeah.
And you should already have at least 2 volunteers per precinct in your district because you should have a man and a woman in each precinct. And then they should have at least 5 people each. So you should have 7 to 10 people already in each precinct ready to go to vote, to knock doors for you. But because that foundation isn't there, and that foundation is there on the Republican side.
Yeah.
Because that's what the Tea Party did. They came in and they took over precincts. What I did was look and see what they did and be like, let's do that. And then the Democratic Party was like, because I went in there, I'm taking you over. And they were like, no, you're not. And I was like, you're right. I'm not. And then I licked my wounds for a decade and I'm back. But I think that now there's more support for, I don't want to say take over the Democratic Party, but I think that they're ready for some real progress and change within the party.
Yeah.
Or a legitimate third one, or none. Yeah. I would be happy with either of those options as well.
Yeah. I think part of the thing that I think progressive is the best cohesive label we've ever had when it comes to reforming the Democratic Party, because before you still have the DSA, there was the Green Party for a little bit, and then there was always, it seemed to be like 2 or 3 different flavors at any given point.
Yeah.
And now I think for the most part, there's been a lot of rebranding, a lot of like organizing. Okay, we're just progressives. We all have these bullet points, these baselines now. So.
Have you looked at the United Kansas Party at all? Have you heard about them?
I've not, no.
Yeah. They're a legitimate third party in Kansas now.
Oh, okay.
And that's pretty amazing.
They got enough votes to...
Yeah, what they want is fusion voting. So they want you to be Democrat. You can be Democrat, Republican, and United Kansas Party. It's really fascinating work. I interviewed Aaron Esterbrook. He's running in 66 up in Manhattan as a United Kansas Party candidate. Okay. And so I think it's amazing that they
pulled it off,
a legit third candidate. That's a step forward in something, man. You know what I mean? I would just wish we just voted for people.
Yeah.
And Ann Paracar had a great idea. She said we should just give each person that wants to run at a certain amount of money, depending upon what level you're at.
Yeah. And
that's the money you get. You can't campaign. You can't take more money. This is it.
That's other countries. Our interpretation of democracy is very interesting compared to a majority of other democratic countries.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I know that.
So we're not going to see any attack ads coming out. Maybe Estes.
Yeah, I guess Estes. I have respectful opinions on some of the other people in my race, but yeah.
Yeah. So that's why you got to knock doors and talk.
Yeah.
You need to be doing that anyway. It really doesn't matter what you post on social media necessarily. It does, but at the same time, the way a candidate, I call them grassroots progressive candidates. Yeah. I wrote an article and defined what that is to me.
Yeah.
So like to me, there's certain points that make them progressive, and the progressive points to me are abolish ICE, universal health care, free Palestine, though. Yeah. That's a progressive thing to me. Yeah. So if you're going to call yourself a progressive, then you better be willing to call it a genocide.
Turns out turning a blind eye to genocide isn't exactly the most humane
progressive.
Thing. Yeah.
It's not very progressive.
Yeah.
So those are like the key points. And then the grassroots thing is really more about the money of it.
Yes.
You're not taking money from corporate PACs and stuff. Yeah. And Hayden was like, I thought you said no PACs. And I was like, I didn't say no PACs. I just said you have
Hayden and I might be mirrors of each other. Because I also, when I first started, I was like, no PACs. Because then I'm learning a lot.
Yeah.
As soon as I started hitting the ground running, doing 40, 50, 60 hours of work, I'm like, just taking in all this information, like, oh, there are good faith PACs.
Yeah.
First edit. Yeah. First takesy backsy. Sorry, guys.
Unions are, are actually a bonus to have on there, but there's teachers.
Yeah.
And there's even PACs that are all about animal welfare. I know this from digging through people's campaign finances.
Yeah.
And so, because I'm autistic and have pattern recognition, I start to associate certain packs with certain people that I like or don't like.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, now when I hear a pack name, I'm like, that's a bad pack. That gave to, we don't want. Not that they're clamoring to give us money.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, as far as being interested in going after some pack money, because you do need some money. Even in a Kansas house district, you can't do it with no money unless you're going to invest your own money in it. But even then, but just like printing and T-shirts and just the printing of stuff to give the canvassers, there's money. And so you do need a certain amount of money, but you don't need I don't.
Yeah, I would say those materials is probably where my campaign is the shortest right now. To just be I have no issue being transparent with how in-house my campaign is. I'm trying to get stuff like yard signs and T-shirts up and running, but need support. But yes.
Yeah, that's where we're at. We're about to launch donate to us and we'll give you a shirt. We want to buy shirts campaign. And I finally got them to decide on one. Yeah,
I'm blessed to be able to have stuff like my various different things. I probably have an overhead of probably $100 a month for my campaign.
Yeah.
Between all the different electronic stuff and
all the subscriptions.
All this, yeah.
I have all the subscriptions already,
exactly,
so they're like an in-kind donation. But
yeah,
I have them for my work. But yeah, I have at least 150 a month in subscriptions to different things. And like he's using Linktree, and we're not paying for a website, but you can't do that at a US.
Yeah, it's like no,
you can't do that.
My website has to.
You have to have a real website. Like that'll work for a house. I wouldn't even do that for a Kansas Senate, but for a Kansas House member, I think it works just fine.
You just need a splash page.
Yeah, it's just something to come up when people Google him because, like I said, he has to be out there, like physically talking to people himself. Or inspiring people to go talk to people. And
those house districts, you do have the means to be able to knock every door.
Yeah.
The goal for federal level stuff is try to knock every door.
Yeah.
But state level stuff is like you should be knocking every door.
That's a lot of doors. At least calling everybody. One kind of contact. That's my goal.
Yeah.
Whether we're calling them or knocking on the door, I want to make sure that every single Democrat and unaffiliated voter is attempted to be contacted somehow at least once before November.
Yeah.
And then his Republican friends can talk to his Republicans. And it's a lot. And then I can't even imagine. I'm trying to remember. You're 4, right? Yeah. I have it in my
17,
head. Yeah, so
17 counties.
Caden is in if Caden wins and you win, you'll both be covering the same area.
Yeah.
And I think you guys could do a lot of good work together, honestly.
Yeah.
He's very passionate about foster care.
That's awesome.
Working with kids in and out of foster care. He was a homeless teenager himself. He danced on the edges of it, never actually got put in the system I don't think so, but he could have been at some point. And he's very passionate about foster care and reforming foster care and has a lot of really great ideas about it and is very knowledgeable about it. And that's one of the things he's most passionate about is
I'm gonna have to talk to this guy.
I need to do.
He's on my radar last week.
Yeah, we just now started really.
Okay, cool. So he came on my radar for the right reasons. I was like, did I just miss this? I tried to.
We just really started. He decided to do it in December or January is when he officially decided. I was working on it since November.
Yeah.
You guys definitely need to talk. I think that maybe you could both win and then.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Change the world.
Let's do it. Yeah.
But that's one of his big things, and it's something that's really important to me too, is foster care and what's happening to the teenagers and that are aging out. And I kill myself sometimes and look on the website, Adopt Kids, and I'm like, oh, I want to take you.
Yeah.
But and so it's just.
Yeah. There's just a lot of negligence at the state level as well. I've
gone through the process with my cousin's kid.
Yeah.
It's a long story, but I was trying to foster this kid and his little brother, and so I went through the process with her, and then they gave him back when they shouldn't have, and it was very heartbreaking, and I worry about him every day.
Yeah.
I don't think he should be I think she shouldn't have had a right to her children anymore, but.
Yeah.
And then there's sometimes when they don't take them away. I think that's my biggest problem.
It goes both
with
ways.
Care,
It goes
that
both
there doesn't
ways.
seem to be a consistent treatment. It seems to be so up to some caseworker or a judge, or I don't know who's making the decision, but it seems to be like up to just opinions of people. They like this person, so they want reunification. They don't like this person, they don't want reunification.
I could give you the 45-minute branching tree of it. I'm not going to do that. I could give you the 45-minute
Oh, I bet you could.
Yeah.
I'll let you and Caden talk about that in an interview once. We'll have one that's just you two foster care.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just seems like a lot of it is Caden's thing is they're focused on parents' rights and just the language that they have around children. Yes, you need to talk to him.
This is my guy. I have the
the language they have around children in general when you're talking about custody between divorcing parents or whatever is like their property.
Yes.
And they're not property.
Exactly.
They're human beings.
So, Caden, if you're watching this, go to my website, Epley for Congress. Perfect. I revealed this at the last Progressive Democrats of America Kansas chapter meeting, but I wrote my first bill because I wanted to have an actual, like, a bunch of other candidates, whether it's this race or other races. Everybody wants to have a day one or hit the ground running, and I was like, I'm someone who loves to show my work.
Yeah.
And so I wrote a bill, and what it is actually it standardizes and gives minimum guidelines to foster youth Bill of Rights across every state. And so what it does,
so it makes a Bill of Rights for the children.
So 49 to 50 states currently have some form of right or a list of rights, which was required in the 2014 bill. It's not very long bill and act titles, but it was like a sex trafficking prevention and child case management case planning. Very long bill, 2014. But one of the things that it said almost in passing was that states have to, whenever you do your case plan with a foster child, Kansas is every 6 months, and usually across the country it's every 6 months when you do a full case plan evaluation. You have to provide them a list of all of their rights as a foster child, and then make sure that they sign and acknowledge, and that both parties acknowledge that they understand their rights. Kansas has a decent we have a foster care bill of rights. That entire document covers both foster parent rights and foster youth rights in one document. Some states have really robust foster parent rights and just the most god-awful, unbearable minimum foster youth rights. And like Tennessee and Iowa, I got my eye on you. In my little workspace, I have all 49 states besides Alabama printed out, and I worked through all of them, and I wrote a bill, and it needs, I'm sure some legislative lawyer would need to go through and but the goal is providing a federal bare minimum of rights afforded to foster youth that all states have to adhere to.
Because this is my thing, as far as what should be handled at the federal level versus state level, every child
this is child welfare we're talking about.
Deserves the same level of care and welfare. So why would that not just be the same across all states? Why? And so
I based mine off of, I think, the two best states out there, and to show that it isn't necessarily the color of the state, the best two were California and Florida, in my opinion. I think they had the best two by miles. So I kind of based everything off of them. I've used them.
At least it's balanced.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, it's not like I'm not just going out here and say use California because I know how divisive that is. So I'm trying to. The goal was to write a bipartisan bill. Yeah. Because I'm not going to go in there and just try to throw the most openly progressive bill, even though it's child welfare.
See, that's what I'm talking about. You know, the reality is that you're not going to be able to walk in there day one and throw some progressive abolish ICE bill at them. You know what I mean? You're not like, day one, abolish ICE.
As fast as we can do it, let's do it. But also let's...
I support it. That's all you can say at this point.
Also, depending on the situation or the topic, it's like, we all know Bernie Sanders had a universal health care bill in his back pocket for 30. He's able to fire from the hip when it comes to putting the universal health care bill on the floor.
You know,
there are
waiting for the votes.
Yeah, there are black women with PhDs who have been civil rights activists for 20 plus years up in DC. I am not going to be the white boy from Kansas that's going to finally lead the charge on voter rights. My goal is to co-sponsor, advocate, and support and vote. Yeah, it's like I'm not going to be the X factor.
You're a junior, a junior senator from Kansas.
Yeah.
Or whatever. You're
representative.
person. I'm saying like totem pole wise.
Exactly. It's I'm not going to be some
they're gonna be like
X Factor carrying the guide on.
Who's that guy? Get out of here,
Yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah.
Shoot, child. Let the adults play. No, yeah. So that is actually reassuring to me because that's one of my issues is when I look at somebody's platform or I look at their ideas, I need to understand that they understand the reality.
Yeah.
Of what they're walking into in Washington. They have, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And no, that's good. I like that.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out. I'll have Hayden check that out for sure.
8.5 pages. But yeah, it was mainly in response to Tennessee right now.
Yeah.
I say right now. It was introduced in March and it hasn't been addressed since, I think because of the backlash.
Yeah.
But they had a law, or they were going to pass I think they called it a law or a policy where they could do preventative. They could, in a preventative manner, put foster children in juvenile detention or similar facilities. There's 10 different labels for juvenile halls.
Yeah.
But they could, without any official charges against a child, they could just do preventative measures and put a child in there. Which, and being fluent in this, I know what it actually is. And it's okay. What we can do is we can file away the worst. And there are objectively harder behaviors than others in foster care. But what they want to do is they want to file away those harder behaviors so they can also make their stats look better of children not sleeping in office spaces, or a lower percentage of placements so they can hit marks when it comes to, so foster agencies can hit marks for that as well. So I know that it's manipulative on that second front as well.
It's kind of like when McDonald's makes you leave the drive-thru to go park over here so that they don't mess up their drive-thru times.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Fast food.
Yeah.
Foster care. Awesome.
That's
that sounds great, Tennessee. Good.
Yeah. So it was like, that was one of the main ones that spurred. And also you can just type in foster youth Bill of Rights and you can just see 10 different articles in the op-eds of random former foster youth that are like, I was in the room when my state signed a foster youth Bill of Rights. I should have already had the right to water. It's like the bare minimum. You have the right to a clean bed and water, and that's it. It's like
would doing something like federalizing the foster care system in general, because like with my case, we were in Kansas, but he was taken in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And so because of the two states, it added a lot more time, or he would have been with me sooner and not in the stranger's home. But if it were like a federally. Plus, he had like Native American thing too. That was a whole other thing. And so
you're dealing with all that ICWA policy.
So federally, though, if it were like foster care was a federal thing and not a state thing, I feel like that would make it easier for cross-state placements.
Yeah, and some states work, and some states have the streamlining better than others. I don't know, like I've seen Maine work pretty seamlessly. Ironically enough, Kansas to Maine. I've seen that one work.
Really?
Oddly enough.
Was it a family member?
It was someone that I did.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I think that because I see kids all over. Because I look at Adopt USA, and I sometimes just do everywhere. Yeah. And there's like sibling sets, and there's all these people, and it's just like the complications of trying to get them from a Tennessee to a Kansas or a Colorado, or it just, because of the different agencies, it drags things out so much longer because this person has to do a thing and they have to talk to this person.
Yeah,
and I feel like if it was like
you got to go up and down the bureaucracy here, and then swing over the pendulum over here to go up and down the bureaucracy.
Not all kids would be. Some kids you're not going to want that kind of huge. Move, but some kids, especially younger ones, are sibling groups that are harder to place. If there's a family 3 states away that will take 5 kids, let them take them.
Absolutely,
let's just make it easier. And I just think that, I think foster care is something that should be handled at the federal level. Period.
And again, being a junior representative, I know I learned so much about bill writing. Turns out I don't know how much you are part of meme culture, but the astronaut pointing the gun to the back of the other astronaut's head being like, it's been this the entire time, always has been. Turns out everything's just put into the Social Security Act. All of foster care at the federal level, every policy that's ever affected foster care at the federal level, just taped onto the back of the Social Security Act.
So it doesn't even have its own thing?
But so many other things as well. So many things are just adds on to the Social Security Act. So it's like, I realized like a third through is, I'm just writing an entire bill that just amends the Social Security Act, and they've been doing this as well, because that's what the 2014 bill was as well.
Yeah.
There was a 2019 bill that was decent. So I learned something fascinating about politics and legislation that I never thought I'd learn when I did that. Oh, this is all just the Social Security Act. Always
We'll have to try writing a bill.
Yeah.
I like to learn about things.
Yeah, no, I love to weaponize the in my ADHD.
Same. And I just
we're not taking the Adderall today. We're going.
No, I actually have to take the Adderall or I can't think straight. I can't focus.
I can only focus on things I care about, which is it's worked out pretty well. Yeah. It worked out really well because I care about this.
Yeah, politics.
Some of my college classes, I was undiagnosed during college. I was like, some of the college classes you could have benefited from.
I'm 48 and I was diagnosed 6 months ago. So
congrats.
My whole life I'm all ADHD though. I have to be special. I can't just be one.
I got diagnosed a month after I face plant across the finish line of my bachelor's degree.
Oh, yeah.
I was playing a hard mode the entire time.
That makes sense.
Because when I went to work and everything, I was like, this is so easy doing all this paperwork.
I was trying to explain to somebody the other day that college and then work, college is so much harder than work.
Yeah.
Because they're not coming in with a test once a week and being like...
Yeah. I'm not paying to be there. I'm getting paid. It's like...
No.
Like, I'm thinking of, I got a degree in education, so it's, I'm going to go pay to go get terrorized by children today, granted.
Yeah.
Love working with kids. But
no, I know. I was
the power dynamic feels different when I paid $1,500 to be there.
And then I think that's another thing that we should just do at the federal level is education.
Yep.
Because all of our children, no matter where they're at, deserve the same education.
Yeah.
Because they're Americans, right? And so
Yeah.
it makes no sense to me. And then you see what happens when it's at the states. You have terrible states and good states. And I think every child that is an American or is on American soil, for all I care, I don't care if they're an American, deserves an education.
Exactly.
And they deserve
I call
the
them
same
undocumented
education.
Americans.
Undocumented Americans, yes. They deserve the same education. And if they're going to be here, I want them to be educated.
Yeah. My favorite relationship between the federal and state government is the federal government sets robust minimums and guidelines, and then states can exceed where they want to succeed.
Exceed, not take away.
Exactly. Yeah, they get to exceed where they want to exceed. And granted, I haven't done it. I'm probably not going to. I'm not going to do it before getting elected, just because it's a lot more. It's a lot more ambitious than what I wrote. The bill I wrote is 8.5 pages. I would want to write a policy that adds a lot of guidelines to how states fund school districts across different school districts and zip codes to make sure there's more equitable funding. Make sure that we're not just giving weird tax credits state by state to private, to prop up private schooling when it shouldn't be propped up in a certain fashion.
Yeah.
I'm a public school person. If you really want a private school, that's great, but I want your taxes to be worth it the first time around to where you feel confident sending your kid to a public school.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I know that's a much more ambitious kind of bill to write than what I did write, but I would love to at least be a part of a bill that did do a lot of federal level guidelines and good faith practices when it comes to school districts funding at zip code levels.
I think a lot of this education problem comes back down to the parents, and it comes back down to the ownership of children, right? They think they should get to tell the school district this until it's my parents' rights,
Yeah.
instead of what's best for the kids. You know, it's always what's best for the kids. That's what it should be.
And that's the hard one. You can't policy away a culture.
Which just swings back to education.
Yeah.
If I were running for any office, education would be one of my major things. Because I love being educated.
Yeah.
I educate myself.
For
this is a hobby.
Yeah.
I don't make any money. I'm literally here to educate myself. So I could care less if anybody watches it. I'm learning. So I love to learn about things I like to learn about. And I just see so much value in educating kids. And then just as being part of my kids' lives, because they're all about your age. They're like 25 to 29. And now I see my grandkids and just watching the excitement and the joy when they learn something new all over again. And it's so important and so empowering to educate people and for people to be educated, and that's why they're doing it. They don't want a certain set of our population educated. They want only the rich people to be able to have an education because they want the poor people in the factories and filling their jails and in filling their military. And because that's what I found in the Army is that the bulk of the people that were in the Army, there was maybe 10% that were like Army, and they had a family in the Army, and they were but the other 90% of them were there because they had no better options. They were homeless.
Oh my God. It hurt my soul.
From third world, Guam and Haiti, a lot of them were from there. It was just to have a better life. They had no other way.
Yeah. I'm proud of what I've done in the military, but also I'm in the band, and there's not a lot of moral quandaries besides propaganda here. But
Yeah.
but it's like seeing teenagers who are doing the most as possible for them, because when I did the case management, I was doing transition case management for 16 to 20-year-olds who were leaving the foster care system.
Oh yeah.
So I was trying to, basically it's just I come in every day and just try to solve the problem of homelessness. And it's like how many, for a lot of those young men, they're just like, Mr. Cole, I just don't see another way. And I'm just like,
and what do you tell them? Yeah.
I'm like, you
That's
could
the
go
reality.
you could go to college and we could get some of the money moved around, we're given a dorm room, but they're not with love, they're not the best student. They don't want to be a student. They got their high school diploma or GED. I'm proud of them enough on that.
Scratched.
Yeah, it's like they're not gonna.
Yeah.
You're not gonna.
And
go
there's
to,
not dorms at like a technical school
Exactly.
with HVAC, and they got rid of that one. They cut the one program, the jobs.
Yeah, Job Corps.
Job Corps.
Yep, they did that while I was doing. We moved so many kids out of Job Corps.
Oh really? Oh man!
Overnight.
All the videos of them crying.
Yeah, moved so many kids
it was
out of that
their
Job
only
Corps.
option.
So, yeah, that was. It was such a dignifying life path for so many of those young adults.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm not homeless and I get to learn a trade that will make me money. And just overnight, it was just gone because we decided to defund it.
Yeah, it broke my heart. It broke my heart. And I know it's not a perfect program, and none of them are, but it still broke my heart. And I've known several people that it saved their life.
Oh yeah, no,
It was the reason they were able to have hope for the future and stay off drugs and have a productive life now. And I know at least 5 people growing up that went into that program, because I went to Metro Meridian and I went to the school with the bad kids. And so, but a lot of them saved them, and they were able, because I did college, I love college, but they were college people. And they learned a real actual trade, and they're supporting themselves and their families with it today. And so it really broke my heart. And and then I knew that my first thought was foster care kids. My first thought was these kids that are aging out of foster care. They have no parents. They have no support system. And the only thing they had to look forward to was Job Corps. And now they took it from them. What future do they have in this country now? And so it was just heartbreaking to see that. Because education is it's the key to all the problems that ail us. If people were more educated, they wouldn't fall for propaganda. If people were more educated and understood how science works, they wouldn't fall for some of the propaganda they're falling for, because they would already know they wouldn't pass their sniff test.
Yeah.
But they're not. They're not being properly educated. And I don't know. People are like, some of the other days, like, you're so smart. I'm like, am I? Or are people just stupid? You know what I mean? Because because my degree is in integrated marketing communication, basically, and accounting and business stuff. But a bulk of it's communications in general, all the different ways humans communicate, right? And so I've done marketing and all this stuff, and it always says if you want to reach the most people, you keep it at a 3rd grade level. Which is impossible. I can't possibly write at a 3rd grade level, right? And so, but the happy median for me is 8th grade. So I try to keep a lot of my educational things that I write about politics at an 8th grade level in plain language, so that they can comprehend them. Because it doesn't do me any good to do it.
I haven't thought about that before when I wrote my entire website, and now I'm thinking about everything I just wrote about on my website. I wrote it back in February.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want your bill to be at 8th grade level, but no, you do. You need to have. Yeah. And you can just. But I'm just saying, like.
My headlines are at 8th grade level.
Yeah. You want to use as plain language as possible. And as few words as possible, concise and simple. To reach the most amount of people. And the thing is, if you can't explain it simply, you don't really understand it, is what they say. But that's, come on. Like Neil deGrasse Tyson understands plenty of things that I won't understand if he explains them to my brain, right? My brain just, I'm really not that smart. People say that to me. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm an idiot. What are you talking? Occasionally I'm smart and articulate, but that doesn't, overall, I could be just as smart as or intelligent or educated as a senior in high school, and I'm smarter than the average person. No, I think the bar's just too low. Yeah, it's just too low. Yeah. So education is vital. I love education. What it does for people, and even if I'm learning things that have nothing. I got it from my mom. She said, if I had money, I would just go to college. She's only 6. She said, I would just take classes and learn things until I die. Yeah. And it's just, you learn so much. You learn different perspective. You learn so many different things. I think it's very important. It's just the most vital thing. I think it is the best thing this country has ever done. for me is our public education system. It is our crowning achievement.
Yeah.
And it's held up pretty well until
and even
recently.
Even getting kicked a couple times, I think people oversell. Grant, I want to see public education be a lot better. I think people oversell how far it's fallen, though. But it still can be so much better as well. That's the thing. It's like we're in the middle of the slider right now.
Yeah.
I think it's a much more resilient than people give it credit for, but there's so much farther it can go.
I feel like when you're talking about a state, if you're talking about federal, yes, but the Kansas level is pretty dire.
Yeah,
Just as a person who has grandchildren in it and who have had children go through it and who know a lot of teachers and stuff, it's pretty, they're tired.
Yeah, half of them aren't there. And people who step up to be teachers are fantastic.
I was arguing with this guy online the other day. He was saying it's not that hard to be a teacher. I coach this basketball and soccer and all this stuff. And I was like, you get first of all, we're talking about sometimes 20, 25 6-year-olds. Get out of here. Get out of here. Just the noise alone.
Yeah, there are bellwether moments. So I never actually ended up doing, just due to financial situations, I couldn't afford to pay to work full-time to not make money. I never did my student teaching for the last semester of my degree, so I was blessed to be able to have an alternate path of...
But did you do the one where you went to 10 hours at each thing? When I was going to be an English teacher, I took this one class where I did like 10 hours at elementary. I just observed 10 hours at middle school and observed 10 hours at high school.
I'm sure I did something similar to that. I know the method or the requirements always change.
Yeah.
But I never did that, so I never got... I forget what there was a massive... I didn't do it. Massive project you have to do during student teaching as part of your licensure, and I never did that. And then and I still could take the praxis today when it just comes to doing stuff. But a year later, they just said, actually, you don't need to do that to be a teacher anymore. It's like, we're just. And so,
they are.
So on top of texting all my teacher friends, like, you guys did all.
I think there's programs now that even if you just have a bachelor's, that they'll get you in.
Yeah, they still have to prioritize. I've been looking, when it comes to, I've been unemployed in a way since January. I've been looking at these jobs. I've been looking at being teacher jobs.
Am I desperate? Yes.
So they have to honor and give priority to teachers that are licensed. Yeah. But then if they don't have a viable candidate from that pool, then they can move over to unlicensed teachers. Okay. And that goes for that's my understanding. If more than me.
Yeah.
Sorry for speaking.
I think that's my understanding too. Yeah. I just remember a big hubbub when they changed it, and people were like, "What?"
Yeah.
And they were like, "What do you want us to do? We need teachers."
Yeah, but the fact that now we allow, and not like necessarily in a negative way, but now that we allow teachers that don't have a background in education when it comes to their education, it's like, okay, we're starting, like, these are the telltale signs of something we need to course correct, and that's not like.
Yeah, because I have a degree in accounting, but that doesn't mean I can go teach kids accounting.
Yeah, like.
I'm not a teacher.
I love solving problems. Do not hire me as a civil engineer.
I'm not even a trainer.
Yeah.
I can't even train people at a job very well because I have no patience. And I want to snatch that. I want to be like, just give me it. Yeah. This is what you do. And that's not how you train people. And so I'm not the best. I could do preschool. That's it. I love 3 and 4-year-olds. But once they get... Once you're not just playing with them and you have to make them sit and listen to you, that's not going to work out too well. So, no.
It's a double-edged sword because I endlessly respect the people who are willing to step into teaching roles in this climate that is so polarized against education. I endlessly salute them, but also I wish that we had a higher education system where they could just go get an associate's or get a 2-year program to my one thing I'll ever use in this phrase: make the associate's degree great again.
Make the associate's degree great again. Is that your MAGA? Make associate's.
Yeah, exactly. That's my one bastardization of that phrase.
Would that be MADGA?
Yeah, it doesn't roll
you
off the
have
tongue.
To have the D there?
Yeah.
MADGA?
Yeah. But I think just getting an education and having verification of your education is so dignifying to a lot of people. Mm-hmm. It's like people are going to tech schools, and I love that they're going to tech schools. And it's like, I want you to have more street cred along with your tech school for 2 years. A lot, and granted, like I know WSU Tech is actually pretty good about giving an associate's degree, but there's a lot of tech schools in a lot of different states or whatever that just
they're for-profit ones.
Yeah, you go for what's essentially 2 years, and then you're kind of just going off your word and off of an unverified, government verified piece of paper from a private organization. Like, you should have your street cred from your education from that, and you should be able to build on that to a bachelor's That's the reason we had all these 2-year increments, so you could build your path, you could build your custom pathway of education, and then we kind of lost it because we just got all caught up on the bachelor's.
Yeah, well, yeah, everybody has an MBA now. I almost have an MBA, and I couldn't. I don't like the corporate. MBA is all about corporate stuff, and so my master's is hodgepodge because I changed my things a lot. But my associates had an immediate impact on my income.
Yeah.
And if I had not, so I got the associates in accounting, and then immediately got a good job in bookkeeping, and then I was able to do my bachelor's while I had a job. Which is kind of like what you're saying. The associates should be enough to get you started in a career. And then there are a lot of options for doing school that allow you to work and go to school.
Well, it's also great because
not everybody can just focus on school for 4 to 5 years.
Yeah, financially that, but also people don't know what they want to do. Like, you can commit 2 years, maybe hit close to where you want to hit, and then you can refine your life trajectory.
I changed
later.
my major like 8 times.
Exactly.
That's why I have enough credits for a master's, but I don't have a master's because I changed it.
Yeah, it's like we shouldn't be asking 18-year-olds pick your entire life right now. It's like
how do you want to make money?
Yeah,
it's all about making money.
No, get all the gen eds out of the way.
I don't care what you enjoy.
Yeah, get all the gen eds out of the way. Do 1 year.
You like art? Forget it.
Yeah,
there's no money.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Yeah. I want people to do that. So also for these teachers who are stepping into education now, if they're really passionate about it and they want to do it, they don't have to go back and course correct an entire bachelor's degree pathway. It's like we can build on life experiences. I would love to see an associates of education that people can modify onto their existing because their experiences are still valuable. Because the thing is, not a minority of our country goes into education, so they're insights of what it's like to be employed are still endlessly valuable to kids, but then also then they can get the structured understanding of what it means to be an educator, and actually that's what I want to. That's my perfect world. Anyway, what's yours?
My perfect world would be me living out in the country, being left alone raising goats.
Nice.
But I can't do that because I got too much to do here because people keep being silly over in Washington at the State House, and I have to go.
Yeah.
Get them under control. No, I would love to just not pay attention to politics and go live in the country and raise goats, but unfortunately I'm not built like that. It's a special interest now. It's too late.
Yep. Oh no, I weaponized my neurodivergence on it.
Well, if I'm going to be passionate about something, and thankfully it's something hopefully a little useful.
Yeah.
I don't have a room full of trains or anything that just to play with by myself. At least there's something hopefully useful. I feel like I'm doing something sometimes. But so what is the number one question you've been getting from people as a candidate? What's their biggest concerns?
I think it is how, and I say this with respect to my family and my loved ones, but how are you going to win the primary? Especially I know out of the 4 candidates, I'm one of the 2 that are just a much smaller platform financially. I think I don't want to make anything. I feel like I'm getting ready to break out into a much larger internet. That's my hopes, though. But also, I'm putting I don't have the money to hire a production team to make an ad for me. But I did have for various things. I had $400 laying around, so I have a spiffy iPhone. I bought a gyroscopic thing. And I've been doing a whole lot of video editing and learning how to video edit. So it's like we'll make my own homemade high quality ad. It's like
I edit all my videos. It's not fun.
Yeah, it's like I've been going in the deep end of learning how to edit. Yeah. So it's like being willing to weaponize the hyperfixation. I don't have the money, but I have
the passion.
I'm blessed to have the time and the passion to do that in this small chapter of my life.
I don't care if you have the money. That's not something.
Yeah, exactly. And no one does. And it's not about having the money.
They said the people online were like, I'm just vote for whoever I think. Just vote for whoever you think is going to win. Usually it's who raises the most money. I got that online multiple times. And I was like, no. People
who have the most money, and I say this, they're the most moderate candidates who we have a history of moderates getting slapped down by 30 points in multiple elections here in our district. Like,
if they're not going to be different than the past, how do they expect to win?
Yeah. I call it affectionately the All-American Democrat campaign, where you run on this, you're a Star-Spangled Democrat, and you just, the patriotism's there, the love of your country's there, but there's not any meaningful policy to back it up to actually mobilize voters, I look at it like 70% of this district's white. That means 30% of this district's not white. And we tend to lose by 30 points. And while I don't want to just make that the single relationship between those numbers, I do think there's something there. And that's why it's like I don't have to morally, ethically, and strategy-wise question saying abolish ICE and do serious immigration reform, because there's 30% of this district who probably hasn't felt. I've talked to them, I've worked with them, and none of them are politically active because they feel disenfranchised for decades. But it's like, exactly. It's like because every Democrat that comes in here, they just run. They basically subconsciously pander to
the majority.
And even if they intend to do it or not,
yeah,
they pander to white voters and just kind of leave marginalized and disenfranchised voters on the sidelines. And it just makes me sad.
Yeah.
It's like all you have to do is give policy that makes their lives and their families safe, and a lot of them can't do that. And it's just so I don't have to question morally, ethically, or strategically whether or not I say abolish ICE and immigration reform, and stop genocide and gossip.
Yeah.
As well. And I don't.
Those are your beliefs. You're not just saying them because you think they're going to make someone vote for you or not vote for you.
Because I say them because they're my beliefs, whether I was running or not. And then the follow-up is, do you think you can win on that? I'm like, I don't think I can not lose on it. I think that was the right.
I'm sure you're going to try.
Yeah. It's like, I don't think it's going to affect me in the negative, because as many white voters as I disenfranchise, I'm going to empower a bunch of people who have felt like they had no representation for decades.
Yeah.
It's like,
I'm not gonna. If somebody's already bound their integrity down, just to run for office, what are they gonna do when they get in there? It's like my beliefs are my beliefs, my integrity is my integrity. If you agree with me, I hope you do and you vote for me. But if you don't, it's too bad.
I guess that's the second most question I get whenever I tell them like, oh, what are your policy? And then I tell my policy, and they go, you want to win the district? And so this is why. So that's my second most question that I get.
I think you can do it if you can. Like I said, you can do it without money.
Yeah.
There was she's in Kentucky. Gosh, I'll send you a TikTok. She won the Democrat primary for U.S. House, and she only raised $4,000.
That's awesome. That's not even an FEC.
No.
That's not even an FEC. You had 5,000.
I think it was 4 because you have 7 in my head now, but it wasn't in that. Yeah, I think it was like maybe she's gotten to 5,000 since she won the primary. She got another 800 or something.
Okay.
But yeah, she's on TikTok, but she just won the U.S. I think it's District 2 in Kentucky, the Democrat primary.
That's awesome.
I'll admit, when I saw her on TikTok, I was like, she ain't winning, but I'll follow her. I hope she wins, but she probably won't. But she won.
Yeah.
In Kentucky.
Yeah.
And she is radical. She's a lesbian and
nice. Yeah.
And she's very progressive.
Yeah.
And her whole team was very progressive, and she's all different genders on her team and stuff, and they won in Kentucky.
Primaries, that's who you mobilize to win primaries.
Yeah.
The primaries are high info voter, for the most part, high info voter elections. And so I feel comfortable, and I just have to I know the two candidates with a lot of money right now are strategizing on building the war chest for the general election. And someone's like, you keep doing that, just don't unload it on the primary.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, you keep that strategy up, just don't unload it on the primary.
Yeah, right now you should try to be as cost effective as possible. Just talk to people.
Yeah.
Get some business cards.
Yeah.
We got postcards and stuff, but just some business cards, just talking to people.
Yep.
Hey, I'm running.
Yep.
I'd love your vote. Or I think that, because you got so many running in there, just to let them know you exist.
Yeah.
That you're even an option, because they may not know, right? Some of them need to even know that there's this many Democrats running or whatever. People are, like you said, they're so disenfranchised. Some of them may not even know there's an election this year for this. And
we haven't had a primary. We haven't heard that word in decades. Yeah.
There's also a very important reason they need to go vote on these primaries.
Yeah.
Because of the Supreme Court justice and unaffiliated voters.
Yeah, there's extra.
Everybody needs to be
There's some extra bullet points on our primary election.
Everybody needs to go to this primary, whether you're unaffiliated, Democrat, Republican.
Yeah. Everyone
needs to be going and voting for the primary this year. A lot of important things on there. I'm excited about it. I don't know what time it is. How are we doing?
It is. Sure. It is 3:41.
Okay.
I don't know why it took me so long to read it.
I think the only thing we really haven't talked about is maybe we got marginalized groups,
Yep.
genocide, foster care, education, ICE abolish, and so just I guess like gun policy would be the only thing I haven't heard you talk about at all.
Yes, this might be the one that I do want I do want more policy for gun control for safety, because I think of school shootings and part of me is like, I don't know if I want to go back to education right now because of that. I think due to the state-sponsored violence enacted by this administration and by our even past Democratic.
Yeah.
But with ICE, with Trump threatening the National Guard on a state, insert state's name here every other month, part of me is like, the goal is to rebuild a country and culture where we can talk about those where overnight the federal government couldn't come in and just do unavoidable state-sponsored violence. Because I think about, they straight up assaulted and killed, and they assaulted dozens of black people as well that don't get documented as well. They straight up assaulted and killed Alex Preddy, and he had a gun. And he was following all the policy for that. It's like, I think about how much more they would act without any resistance and without any pushback if they knew that citizens around the country didn't have firearms.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I do want better policy when it comes to gun safety. It's one of those things, it's like, because I preached that for years, and then it's like, oh my God, the state-sponsored violence. Oh, this is what the amendment was for.
Yeah, I think that it really comes back to education. Not that I necessarily think guns should be taught in our public schools or anything, but if you look at, what is it? Yeah. There are some countries, I can't think of the country right now. There are some countries where it's just such a normal part. The education, the safety, they keep them locked up. They're used. They're a tool that's used for hunting. They're not something they just carry around, and so they're not like, the society respects the guns in a way that our society does not. How many times do you see people online just letting their kid just a gun with no, here you go, right? But I just think that it's education. If we're going to have, it's the same with cars or whatever, if we're going to have this potentially lethal tool in the hands of humans that are not infallible, we should have as much education on it as possible. I have no idea how I learned about an M16. I know how I was like Forrest Gump taking it apart, but back then I was the fastest. That was going to be my job, though. I was going to be the weapons supply person that handed out the weapons and cleaned them, the armor. I was going to be the supply person in there. So if I take on a job, I'm going to do it seriously. So I was real good at cleaning my weapon. I fell down a lot too, but that's another story. But I think that I have no idea what to do if to a handgun to disarm it, or I have no idea what to do with a gun. Yeah. I don't know the safety, how to turn a safety on or off. I don't know how to do anything. I just stay away from them.
I personally don't own a firearm. I shoot once a year with the Army and I call it a day. It's like, I would say my one, like, one thing that pro-gun people, I do understand and see where they're coming from, to politely dip across the aisle, is just gun registries that don't have an actual objective of safety in mind. And I think that's what they're scared of. And I think for some, like California just has a gun registry, like you just said, like, it doesn't do anything. Like, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't
because the criminals are not going to register the guns, and they're still going to have them, right?
It doesn't make it safer. When criminals are still going to do criminal things, even though I think we weaponize them in the wrong ways as well. But like a majority, like I think of school shootings, and public shootings are a different flavor, but school shootings, a majority of them happen because kids get access to guns because they're not properly stored away.
You definitely need to talk to, oh my gosh, you definitely need to talk to Caden. Look at his site. He's got a whole thing on gun safety. There's a thing called Royale's Law. This is a 9-year-old Royale, I can't remember his last name. He was killed, he was at a friend's house and they got to the parents' guns and his friend, 11-year-old friend accidentally killed him, and they wanted to hold the police accountable, and the DA Bennett was like, there's no laws on the books to hold them accountable. Yeah. And so he really wants to get like Royale's Law or something like that passed, at least in the state. Of course, he'd love to do something like at the federal level if they ever get that high. That's exactly what he wants. For him, it's like, I want the guns to not be getting into the hands, because that's the truth. Most of including going all the way back to Columbine, they either use guns that they were purchased for them and then just allowed to, here's your gun, son. Keep it in your room. Or they were able to access their parents' firearms because they were not locked up properly and they had all the weapons. Some of the parents had them loaded, just sitting there on a shelf. And so
my like rough draft of a solution, and I think when it comes to possibly a Donald Trump administration coming back in after you put in laws when it comes to more gun control and everything, to keep it as good faith as possible, the system would need to be very decentralized to like the county level. I would think create a federal guideline that you register your weapons, and then but then also to actually make registering your weapons make sense and be meaningful, you also register the safes you own, and an auditor can go in and make sure, oh, this safe will be able to house all of these different weapons. And that way, because the most common thing is people just don't own the proper storage for weapons. And that's why these weapons get into the hands of children and then these horrible events happen. And so it's okay, you can own these weapons, but then you also have to own a model of a safe that an auditor would be like, okay, these can fit inside there. I think it would instantly solve so many problems, because then once you have the gun safe, it's like, I'm going to use the gun safe, theoretically. Who knows?
My dad had a big one.
Yeah.
A big, tall one that we loved everywhere because we moved every year of our life. And I never really remember seeing his guns very often. He would take them out in his room and play with them.
Yeah.
And my mom would be like, don't go in there. Dad's playing with his guns. They weren't loaded. He was cleaning them and playing with them because he would go shooting at the range and stuff.
Yeah.
He was never a hunter. He just liked guns.
Yeah, but there's an air to responsibility to that.
Yeah. My mom insisted they be locked up, but he didn't keep them loaded and all that. But he had them. But I don't remember. I think my whole life he had guns. I remember seeing them maybe 3 times, but maybe it's because I was his daughter. I think he took my brother's. I had no interest in shooting. I shot my M16 in basic training, and I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I was actually a pretty good shot.
I actually do like shooting a lot.
I did not like it. I didn't like the feeling of... No, I get why somebody might like it, but just the feeling of the power in my hands to know that I could take a life. Because, I'm in a pit in the sand. It's August in South Carolina.
Yeah.
And I got the PC glasses because they won't let me wear my contacts.
Yeah,
and I'm trying to shoot.
You have the glasses with the inserts on.
They're like this, but black.
Yeah.
And so,
I thought you were talking about the safety glasses, and they have the dork inserts with them.
Oh, those big plastic glasses.
Sorry to everybody with glasses in the Army.
In basic training, they're horrid, and they're so heavy. So I'm trying to shoot, and the drill sergeant's above me yelling at me. Yeah. And I'm like, is this guy crazy? These are live rounds. This is what I'm thinking in my head. I could just go kabam, and you'd be dead. Why are you yelling at me right now?
There's a philosophy of drill sergeants. Drill sergeants get really nice on ranges. Drill sergeants should be very nice on ranges.
He was yelling at me.
Yeah.
I didn't want to shoot him. I'm just saying, it was like, I thought, is this guy crazy? Why is he yelling at me like that? I have a weapon in my hand. And then the next bullet I shot at a human figure, I was like, oh, no, I don't like it. I don't like that I have the power to take a human life with this. You know what I mean? It just, at least with a knife, you got to work for it or something. But I'm not a killer. I'm not a killer. I'm just not a killer. I don't even like killing bugs.
Yeah.
I'd be a vegetarian if I wasn't so lazy and it was cheaper. If I was rich and have a chef that could cook for me and make tofu taste good, because I've had tofu that tastes good.
Yeah.
I would love it if I had the money to get somebody else to cook that stuff for me, but it's just easier to cook a hunk of meat.
You know, they'll try to in bad faith tie anti-Zionism to anti-Semitism, and that could be a state level or anything. That could be at any level where they try to clamp down on anti-Zionist statements of like, hey, I don't like when you kill brown children.
I think that if hating a country's government meant I hate every single person in that country, that would mean I would hate every single American.
Yeah.
And I don't hate America.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But and they don't hate America. They hate our government.
Yeah.
And rightly so. And so when I say this or that, it's Netanyahu.
Yeah, exactly. It's the IDF.
It's the government.
It's the IDF. It's Netanyahu.
It's not the citizens.
I'm blessed that my spiritual campaign manager, he is a Jewish man who has just everyday family that lives in Israel. Doesn't agree with what Israel's doing.
There's so many here that don't agree with what our government's doing. So I know there has to be some over there.
So I love having that as like my nuanced checkpoint for myself, because like I just don't want to see people die for no reason, and so I feel like I have the ethical and moral guidelines to never even step into actual anti-Semitism, because that's not what this topic's about. But I love having him there because he helps reinforce this viewpoint from a different perspective.
Yeah.
He's like, it's the same kind of awkward, like, gut-wrenching relationship they have with their own government that we have right now.